Today's episode speaks on criticism in a relationship. For example, when it comes to people speaking on your relationship, whether friends, family, so forth and so on, they speak on your relationship or on your spouse in such a negative way that it may or could it influence you and your thinking in regards to your spouse or your entire relationship. I don't know, hypothetically, let's say, your mother doesn't like the girl that you're with or whatever, and she starts to say certain things about, oh, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that, this, that, and the third. Can that alter your thinking on how you feel about that same exact girl? What do you think? It's on you.
What do I think? You want me to answer the question?
In regards to criticism.
I think it depends. If you're secure in your relationship, no. If anything, you would want to speak against whatever they're speaking to you in defense of your significant other, and denounce whatever they're saying, and make it clear to them like that's not acceptable. Like, I didn't ask you for it, or even if it was asked for in regards to an opinion that you needed on something, to talk down or bring that type of energy towards you for your relationship is not necessarily what you look to get out of whatever conversation you was having. But
Sorry, I'll let you finish. I'll ask later. Go ahead.
If you're a little insecure and let's say like you was having an issue and someone was speaking down on you on your relationship or your significant other, I think you start to believe some of that stuff. Like, what am I thinking? If somebody come to you and say like, why are you with him? He an idiot. He this, he that. He can't get his life together. He using you. He doing this, and then you like, dang, is he? And it's like, especially like a situation where, like, let's say you already sensitive to, like, you feel like maybe that could be it, but then somebody else say it, so it's kind of like you use it as confirmation, and you use that as a catalyst to seal the deal for whatever you might have been thinking, instead of just acting on how you felt towards whatever situation is. And so I guess I say it could go both ways, especially it just depends on your way of thinking and how honest you are with your significant other. If you feel some type of way like they may be using you or something like that, just stop doing it. See what happens. Now, they complaining about you, stop doing, or you come to them and try to have a come to Jesus moment about it, and they explain to you, oh, well, you said this, so this is why I thought that it was okay. Then kind of you probably opened the door for the situation to be the way it is, and you just overthinking the situation or letting somebody else negativity seep in. But I mean, communication is key when it comes to how you move in your relationship, because at the end of the day, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm happy with me, or I'm not happy with me, or I'm happy with what's around me, or I'm not.
Does it matter on what the criticism is? Will that make you move differently? For instance, family member comes to you and says, hey, you don't need to be around this guy. This guy isn't good for you because he can't get his life together. With no real evidence of that, besides the fact that maybe, I don't know, let's say they ain't got a job at the moment or whatever, but no real evidence that this person is bad for you. Or if this person comes to you and says, you don't need to really be around this guy because this guy is the cheating type. I just know. Still, no evidence, but he's the cheating type of person. I know cheaters, and that's the cheating type of person. Does that alter your thought process? Just because it's two different type of criticisms, do you listen to one more than the other? Or is it still the same deal?
It's still the same deal. I mean, whatever you gotta say, you wanna say. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you don't know the person. Like, if you just forming an opinion based off of a situation that I may have told you about, but I'm only giving you one side of the story. You know what I mean? Like, if you form an opinion just based on how he look or what he do for a living, or you know what I mean? Like, if you just forming a baseless opinion about nothing, then no, your opinion is not going to have any grounds on how I move. Now, if something is a red flag for you for what you've seen in your relationship, I'll keep it in mind. You know, a mental note. All right, if you see that, all right, well, I'll let you know if I see that. But that's not going to change who I'm going to be with.
Now, can those unconscious, I'm going to just put it in the back of my mind, can those bleed out?
I think, eventually, if the proof is in the pudding, you know what I mean? Like,
or even so, let's just say it's not necessarily in the pudding, but it's just like a guy gives you that, you know what I mean? Like, just I don't know, you ask him, yo, you know, where was you at? They give you a story. The story isn't 100% truth. They omitted some truth to it, whatever the case is. And, you know, you have that in the back of your head of, oh, well, mom did say it was cheating time. Like, can that bleed out?
It could.
To become.
It could, especially when their opinion starts to be formed as correct, or start leading to, like, dang, I should have listened to my mom. They said that. I mean, like, one of the things, like, for me, that was a lesson every time I went through it was dating men and then letting my father meet them, and my father forming an opinion on them, and my father's opinion just always seemed to be right. And so I got to the point where it's just like, well, shoot, if I'm getting into a serious relationship, they need to meet my father, because
so that way you don't gotta waste time.
Call rejected.
That's the smell out.
It's a permanent time shift.
Yeah, no. Pardon the interruption. Thank you. And so, you know, one of the things I would do is ask my father and be like, all right, like, and not on some like, yeah, dad, form an opinion on it. Let me know. Like, it'd be a normal interaction. Like, yo, I'm bringing so and so by to whatever event we may be having, and then, you know, of course, we're gonna talk about it later. We always do. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was set like a setup, kind of like never like that, but more of a normal interaction with a person, and then I would wait to hear my father's opinion, and then I would form an opinion.
I was just about to ask you, if dad says no, he ain't it, do you automatically say, all right?
If dad moves forward and say, nah, he remind me of me, then I'll be like, all right.
Then you go to spouse and say no?
No, not necessarily spouse.
Well, I mean, do you go to whoever you're dating and say, you know what, this ain't gonna work?
Yeah.
And he says why?
He say why, and I'm gonna tell him, like, it's just something, like, I value my father's opinion when it comes to this and that, and there's some things he's seen in you that he didn't think is honest. And so, with that being said, if my father don't get no good vibe from you, I trust his opinion enough to know that every time I went against his opinion, I fell into a bad situation.
And that was every time, literally? Well, every time he met somebody, though.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, like every time. When I say my father's a good judge of character when it comes to the men that me and my sisters date, 9 times out of 10, he right. I have not been steered wrong by him. When my father told me one dude I was dating, and I was with him for a very long time, my father was just like, he remind me of me. That's why I don't like him for you. But my thing is, my dad didn't know him from a can of paint, so that was my issue. Like, you don't know him from a can of paint, how you going to form that judgment about da-da-da-da? Like, but lo and behold, he started doing things that my father did when he was younger. You know, and it was just like dang. Like, and then going to, you know, it's hard, you know, for pride because you don't want to have that conversation and be like, dang, you was right.
Right.
You know? And so that was one of the things, like for me it was just like I'm not even gonna set myself up for failure to even make it that long of a distance of a relationship. If my father sees something in him that ain't clicking right, then I believe him. And I'm just gonna walk away. I mean, and it didn't even necessarily have to be I'ma just walk away. I'ma transition out. I'll make it easy for both parties. I'ma transition out. Especially if the person was mad cool and, you know, we vibe for the most part, but it was something about him that just wasn't right. Eventually I started seeing it.
Would that person be aware of you transitioning out though? Or would you just kind of like start disappearing, not answering as much?
Yeah.
Stuff like that? That's cool. I'll say that's wrong. That's not fair. It's not fair. But I agree with the first thing you said, which is come to them, say how you feel. But if, you know what I mean, what you're doing is you're not leaving a person with closure.
It depends on how much I like them.
Okay. But the ones that you left them really with no closure, and so you kind of just fade it out. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, what the heck? What'd I do to her? You know what I mean? Which could have been ill. You know what I mean? If you just kind of, I guess, flip it on the other side. But
I mean, you don't really need a reason. Like, yo, I don't want to be with you. I don't need to give you a reason. So closure or not, that's closing the door.
But all right, look at it this way. If I like you, you like me, and I think everything's going great, right? Like we're dating, everything's cool. You go have your epiphany, however you go have it. I'm still thinking everything's cool. We're dating, everything's cool, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, your behavior changed. I'm calling you, you're not answering. You're not answering as much. You're being cold to me. This and a third. You lead me to believe, what I do to you? Like, wait, what's going on? Like, I thought we was cool. I have no reference point to say that I did something to stop your treatment going from left to right. So why are you doing this to me? Like, why am I even being treated?
That's if the situation called for it. Like for that situation, it would be like, yeah, no. Like I would have the conversation, right? But if it's a situation where you already moving funny, and, you know what I mean? Like
I'm already giving you reason.
You already giving me reason to,
right?
Or finally you slipped up and something went, yeah, nah. Alright, I'm gonna transition out. I'm not gonna give you I don't want an explanation. I don't want to have to sit here and have this conversation. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna prolong it. I'm gonna just, alright.
Right, well, I mean, obviously the fix to the whole criticism thing is not having people in your business. That's the ultimate fix. Like not have people know about what's going on between you and the person that you're with, right? But are there benefits to doing so? Because I mean, on my side, the way I look at it, you know, criticism can be good and bad. I think you got to take them with a grain of salt. And what you basically were saying was pretty much just store them. Don't treat them as anything. It's for now. They're just someone throwing darts at a wall. Means nothing technically, but you can store them if you value the person that's giving the criticism. You know what I mean? Like, so if you value, let's say your father, you value your mother, whatever the case is. You know that ultimately, like the person who's saying whatever they're saying, they're speaking from a place of trying and attempting to protect you because you're their best interest or whatever the case is. So, you know, when they come to you with these so-called criticisms or, hey, this person isn't right for you, this, that, and third, you know, for me, it's okay, store it because it could be right, it could be wrong, whatever. Yeah, I hear you, I value your opinion, but as of right now, I don't have enough data to move on what you're saying. So I'll just store it and I'll see later on in life or whatever the case is. You know, I think that's the right way to move in regards to the criticisms. If it's somebody that you don't care about, don't value their opinion, or you know that they're only acting that way because they're miserable, because you got to watch out for that too. If they're miserable, they want everybody to be lonely like them, so forth and so on, then you probably really shouldn't listen to their, you know, I guess what I'm saying is the source matters.
Yeah, the source definitely matters. I agree, and that was my next point would be it needs to be from a trusted source. You know what I mean? It needs to be somebody that has your best interest at heart. It needs to be someone who have never steered you wrong in the past. It needs to be someone that you can say for sure that they don't have nothing to gain from you winning or losing.
I mean, I'm only asking that because, like, all right, you know how we were when we got married or whatever the case is, right? And on my side, there was some resistance.
Right.
Not from me, but from
Other people.
family members, friends, so forth and so on, to where it was like kind of like, whoa, you know what I mean? And it's not that they had any real data on you. They might have met you, but they really didn't have much to go on besides a possible meeting of you. Everything else might have been what they heard or what I told them. And from that, it was, yeah, this ain't right, or, you know, she got this type of life already, and no, you shouldn't put yourself in that, so forth and so on. You know what I mean? And, you know, some of these people were from trusted sources in the past, and even now, honestly. But had I took them up on what they were saying and moved in the regards that they wanted me to move, I wouldn't be here. Right. I wouldn't be here. Where does that come into play? Where does that, okay, on this one, even though I trust the source, and, you know, I love the person that's telling me, and I know they're just trying to protect me, so forth and so on, but my gut says otherwise. Like, where does that come into play? Like, where does that line come in? You know what? I hear you, and if it was anybody else, I understand. But on this one, I got to go with my gut, because I know in my heart of hearts, I'm right on this one. Or I'm willing to bet on the house on the fact that I'm right on this one, even though you've been right in the way. Is there a line?
Yeah, there's a line. Ultimately, you make the decision.
Correct.
What makes you happy and or somebody else happy is completely different. I mean, you can always agree to disagree. You can always, there's always a right and a wrong answer, depending on whose perspective is coming from.
Right.
And so, you know, and in those instances, you went against what they said, and here we are now.
Right.
And if I didn't listen to my dad, I would have been somewhere else, and we wouldn't be here right now. You know what I mean?
Right. I was just about to say that on the flip
it's
side.
On the flip side, it just depends.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, all right, let's say everything was going great between us, like it was. You know what I mean? And to the point of, all right, we're gonna get married, and I finally got to meet your dad, and he said, you know what? No. Now, Laura, I've been right every single time, and no, he's not it. Even though you're already like mentally, yo, I'm gonna marry this guy, standing third. Do you initially hit the brakes and like, yo, all right, cut, cancel, or do you say?
I slow up. I fall back for a little bit because I need to see what he sees. What's he seeing right now? I need to understand where he's coming from, especially if it's gotten that far. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, especially now with me, like at some point in the amongst the relationship, you would have met my family prior to
Getting
married, just getting serious.
Right.
Like I used to get people to a certain point, and it was like, all right, yeah, I need to meet my family, because that's important. You're not just marrying me. You know what I mean? Like, so regardless of anything, you gotta meet the family. You gotta be able to interact. And I know about my family. My family is critical. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. You have to have thick skin to be around my family at times. And so, I think it just depends on the person. Because honestly, like, I never told my father that. He's always been right. So I never gave him the ammunition to have it one day to use it against me.
Gotcha.
Right? So I never gave him that. And it was like, oh dang, he was right, mental note.
Right.
Oh dang, he was right again.
So then he could come back to you and say, you know, I'm always right about it.
Yeah, he never, and it was never the you know what I mean, he never threw it in my face. When he could have said, I was right, Laura. See, mental, you know what I mean? He could have been taking mental notes on his side, but it was never a conversation that said like, dang, Dad, you know you was right on every relationship that I ever been in. But no, I definitely trusted his opinion and moved as such. Like once I realized, like, dang, he was right about this, that, and this person. Why didn't I listen?
I think ultimately the problem with that too, and it sucks, is because you're only going to be right or wrong. You only have two answers to a question.
You got 50-50 shot.
Right. So it sucks because it could be right for years. Right? Let's look at the people who've been married for like 10 plus years. It could be right for years and years and years, even though initially someone said, nope, that ain't it, right? For 10 years or so, or maybe let's say 8 years, let's say the last two was choppy, but for 8 years or so, it was right. You know what I mean? It was the person that you needed at that particular time frame in your life for you to get wherever you needed to get to. It just so happened that now it's no longer good for you because you grew as a person. That same person in year one could still at any point come to you saying, I was right about him, I told you. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, you wasn't. Like, yeah, we didn't make it, but at the same time, we were good. Like,
right, we didn't make it, but it wasn't why
right.
how you said
right.
it with it.
Right, and that's the sucky part, because I think that like a lot of people.
No, I don't think you would use those. I don't think you would use that that's not a comparison.
No,
like
I know people. I
think you have to be right for like if you like, for example, my father said he reminds me of me when I was his age. I know exactly what he meant. But I was like, nah. Like, nah. I didn't see it. It didn't dawn on me when he said it. But he said from the time he looked the dude in his eyes, he knew. Right.
Well, like, I'm just saying it more so in the sense of, let's say, in the very beginning, he meets the person, he's a cheater, right? And then you married the guy 10 years down the line, the guy cheats on you. Technically, if you want to get like anal about the situation, he was right. He cheated. You know what I mean? But it was 10 years later. Things have changed. Scenarios have changed.
Well, he could have just finally got caught.
Could have.
You know
that's
what I mean?
Yeah. That's right.
But that's
right.
the thing. You never know.
Right.
But
it's just funny
it's a fine line. Like, it's definitely a fine line. I don't believe that that's always the case and could be used in every case. I
just know people who actually think like that, and they'll wish something bad upon a relationship because of what they felt,
of the power that they have,
right, and what they felt, what they felt when they initially said whatever. To at some point in time when things don't go right, like for instance, I've been in relationships where, like somebody might have said something, I don't care for this girl or whatever the case is because of whatever, right? And relationship goes for however long it goes, and then if I'm having a heart-to-heart with that same person that said, I don't feel right about this girl, this and the third, words will come out that'll say something like, I never really cared for her anyway because of da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, yeah, but I was with the girl for, 12 years or something. You know what I mean? Like, it was fine at a point. It just so happens that life has pushed it to a point to where, me and that person's not.
Right, but you also got to look at it like this. Like, a person, you know who your friends are, your people are. You know who you can trust, who you can't trust with certain things and all of that, right? I'm the type of friend that I'm going to be honest, especially if you ask me my opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion, my raw, uncut opinion. Now, what you do and how you move after I give you my opinion, I'm not going to pass judgment on you about how you move.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's your choice. That's your decision. Now, if I'm right, I'm not going to throw it on you like, I told you should have left, but you stayed anyway. You know what I mean? Like, that has nothing to do with me. That's you. You got to look yourself in the mirror.
Right.
But my thing is, I didn't have nothing. I wouldn't have nothing to gain from me saying
you were right.
You know what I mean? Like, because I believe girl code. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not dating anybody you messing with. You know what I mean? Like, so 9 times out of 10, we not even, most of my friends, I don't think we really attracted to the same things. Right. So, I don't move in a shiesty manner, or grimy manner, like to make it even come off as if I got a motive. You know what I mean? Sitting in my back pocket, just waiting to pull out. Like, she done with him. Let me, hop on. Like, nah, good.
All right, let me ask you this. A little bit off, well, not really off topic, but somewhat in a different segue. Have you ever received conflicting advice from two trusted sources?
Yeah.
In the sense of, guy met best friend one was like, yo, that's the person for you. Best friend two, like, hell no. Like, have you ever ran into that scenario about the same one person?
Yeah.
How do you move?
You do your own thing. I mean, at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, ultimately it falls on you.
Honestly, if I had to pick between both friends and know which one is which, I would know which one is coming from a genuine place.
I'm saying best friends, like to where both of them have your best interest at heart.
Both of them got my best interest at heart.
Right.
But you know your best friends. You know which one act off of pure emotion. You know which one act off of logic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to evaluate which friend has the opinion. Right. And which friend is just saying, the wind blew left, so I don't like them. You know what I mean?
So it's almost like pick the friend for the occasion.
Pick the friend for the occasion. And honestly, you gotta do that. I mean, not all friends are meant to go through every single thing. They can know what's going on, but some friends are not there to go like be.
Yeah, not all friends are equal. You might equally love them, but they're not equal.
Exactly. Right. Like, I mean, like, for example, my father died. My one best friend hopped on the plane. Didn't have to say much of anything. I'm there. You know what I mean? Like, I know other friends, you can't necessarily do that because not every friend could do that. Right. Okay? Not every friend could do that. But I know which one would.
Right.
And I will only use it in the event that I need it because they got family, they got kids, they got husbands.
And they got their own life.
You know what I mean? And so, but they jumped up, dropped everything, and came. And so, and it was only one of them. They were all there for me.
Right.
But that one was physically there.
Right.
Because she knew something that somebody else did. You know what I mean? And so, not everybody has that. And you know what logical conversations like? That's like you in a relationship and all of your friends are single and you the only one in a relationship. You're not technically supposed to rely on your single friends' advice, but you do have smart single friends that are logical about whatever situation and can hold down and maintain a healthy relationship that can converse with you on that level.
It's the motive of a friend.
Right.
I agree. I mean, because some friends actually really want to see you happy.
Exactly.
As opposed to other friends who want you happy when they're happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when they're not happy, their advice may get altered by how they feel at the time about something they may be going through.
Right.
I'm just curious. I mean, because with that, it's not even just friends. It could have been like, let's say you take them to your mother. Mother says something, take them to your father. Father says something else. And it's like, oh, dang. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately, yes, it's your decision on what to do about you and your relationship. You know what I mean? Like, it's between you and that partner or whatever. But, when it comes from trusted sources, it can almost even, especially if their husband and wife that's giving you the conflicting advice, can almost like put you at odds with, dang, like, wife says this, husband says this about the same one guy that I'm dating. You know what I mean? Like, so what the hell's going on?
No, I honestly, like, I think it's knowing who you're getting her opinion from. You're not going to randomly walk up to Bob on the side of the street and ask him his opinion on who you think. Will you like Chris?
I'm only speaking on trusted.
I know, just what I'm saying. It really depends. Yeah, they could be trusted people that you consider close or family or whatever. But you know dang on well that they ain't right in their life. They don't have no right giving you opinion. And so it just depends. Like or you could just want to hear what they think, just to hear what they think, so you don't leave them out. And their opinions is off the wall, crazy.
Not to cut you off, but even when I was going through the worst of times, I gave great advice. Just me though, just throwing it out there. Continue.
Yeah, but giving great advice and listening to your own advice is two different.
Yeah, no, that's a whole nother monster. That's a whole nother video. I'm just saying, even in like the darkest of times, I could give great advice. You know what I mean? Because I can take myself. You got to be able to give good advice. I feel like you got to be able to remove yourself. You got to remove all biasness and all that fly stuff, and give the advice from a rational, logical, analytical standpoint. Because you got to take all facts, formulate them, and then give an opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was just saying, like, even in like the darkest of times, I was good at doing it. But I get what you're saying, and I actually, I agree. It is what it is. I mean, closing thoughts on it. You hit it on the head. I don't have nothing to go against. I agree with you. Closing thoughts on criticism. Because I do agree. Like, criticism is something that it can be beneficial. It could be very beneficial.
This is groundbreaking.
It's not groundbreaking.
This is
newsworthy. Because I
breaking news.
I agree with you before.
Alert. Emergency. What's the emergency tone that shows up on your phone when there's an Amber Alert?
The long. This is that one. Yeah. No, but I agree. Criticism is beneficial. It's about being critiqued in a positive way.
It's not a problem. I salute you for agreeing with me.
Right. So why are you making a big deal out of it? It's not a big deal.
Finally, my husband agreed with me on something. This is groundbreaking material here. We need this video right here to be rated #1 on Marriage Chronicles.
So random. What did your father say about me when you met me?
He liked you. You really want me to say? Okay. So my father said Chris is a great guy. If anybody mess up y'all relationship, it's not gonna be him, it's gonna be me. That's what my father said. I said, shoot. I'm like, dang, all the pressure. Thanks, Dad.
That's hilarious. The reason that's hilarious to me is because I've always been good with parents. Always. Like, in the beginning at least. You know what I mean? I've had some to where me and the parent had to fall out. But in the beginning, always been great with parents. And it's always been because of my parent. My mom is such a straight shooter with how she gives it up or whatever. It's hard for me to sit in front of a parent and not be honest with them. You know what I mean? So parents, I think, have that sixth sense, and they can sense that ish, like kids can. So where it's like, yo, this person's not being right or being honest with me. This person's trying to get at my daughter or whatever the case is. Like, so where I think that they pick that up off of me. I could be wrong, but
I don't know what it is.
I think they picked that up.
I was a little perturbed, okay?
Yeah, because you personalized it. You took it as
it was a shot. It was a shot at me.
Not really. If anything, he's actually giving you props.
No.
No. What he's really saying is, yo, you picked a good catch. Don't F up. That's not
the point. Like, if every conversation about a man with your father is like, yo, he's nice, but something about him, or I don't like him, he reminds me of me, or it's always the other person. It's the finger's pointing at the other person. Like, you're too good. My daughter's too good. This is this thing.
But he's not saying I'm too good.
No, he literally just said,
he's not saying that.
No, he's too good for you. That's what he said to me. And I was just like,
you took it that way, but he's not saying that. He's actually saying,
I'm like, why would I mess up?
He's really just saying,
like, what did I do?
You got it. Like, you finally got it right. If it's always been, well, yeah, this one, bingo, you got it. Just don't mess up now. It's the same thing you would say to like anybody who,
I don't know, maybe it's because of how he said it.
Well, yeah, he might have said it in a joking way that made you feel like that. You know what I mean? But overall,
like am I messed up? Like, it had me second guessing myself. Like,
because first of all,
do I be messing up like that?
No, because first of all, I think you know who you are to him in the sense of you and your other siblings, to where you're the logical one. You're, you know, whatever you are, because I'm not going to put all the sisters on blast, brothers and all that, but you know who you are in regards to the siblings, right? So, boom, you're the smart one or whatever the case you are, and he looks at you that way. But your choices in men in the past have been...
It hasn't been that far off.
Just been whatever. They've been finicky, they've been good for a minute, not whatever they've been, because I wasn't there, or whatever. Finally, he comes to you and says, you got it right this time, love.
I haven't made bad.
I'm not saying you've made.
No, I'm just saying, like, they haven't never, like, because I want the narrative to
I'm
be
not
right.
saying that.
They've always been good or okay choices.
Right.
They haven't been like
great choices. Difference. They might have been good, but it might have been that comma. Yeah, he's good, but right.
Yeah.
He comes to you and says, "Great guy." No but. Great guy. Don't mess up. He's giving props to you. You got it right this time, Lo. Like, don't mess it up, but you got it right. It's up to you to I gave you an A+, it's up to you to mess it up.
Yeah, but then you take that and then all the opinions that you was getting on the side, I was just like, dang, it's me.
Right. But it's up to, again, that's when it comes to the defense thing.
It's like the pressure.
Right. No.
The pressure.
Right. Because people can be wrong too. That's when it comes to, okay, Chris to the rescue. I'm there to defend because they don't know you like I know. So on my side, if somebody were to meet you and they say, yeah, not her because da-da-da-da. Wait, hold up, man. Nah, yeah, I hear you. I love you and I value you, but you're wrong on this one. I hear you, but I'm going to marry this person because you're wrong. And in time, when you do get to know her, you'll see that I'm right. Right? Like, it's not that my mom didn't like you. She was reserved about certain things about you. But it's not like she didn't like you. However, that was before marriage, right? We get married. You've been around her more than once now. She's warmed up to you. She loves you. You know what I mean? Like, now look at your relationship compared to how, when I told you what she was saying in the beginning, it might have taken you back a bit.
I'd be great with the parents.
Right? Gotcha. Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
you come in with that.
Right. But what I'm saying is that's when I'm there to defend and say, you know what? As much as I value what my mom may have said or somebody else may have said, they're wrong. And that's okay. They can be wrong. I'm going to marry this person because I know that they're wrong.
Right. But look, if I disagree with my dad on this one, it's like, which part? I can't. It's always a statement.
All right, so if you disagree, you feel like he's gonna be like, "Oh, you effed up."
No. I feel like if I disagree, then I'm disagreeing to the fact that you're a great catch and I'm a mess up. I'm only disagreeing on the basis that I feel like he's getting me wrong, but he can't get me that wrong because he's my dad. But I don't know.
I don't really think he thinks you're gonna mess up. I really think he thinks
no.
I really think
he wouldn't have said it.
Right.
I don't think he thinks I'm a mess up. He's just telling me don't mess up.
Yeah, and I think he's really saying because if it's going to be anybody,
if it's going to be anybody, it's not going to be him.
Right.
It's going to be me.
Right. He's not going to hurt. So if anybody's going to be,
if I had to point the finger, it's not going to be him.
Right. But I'm gonna point it at my daughter. But my daughter's not going to mess up because I know my daughter. So it's still, for him, it's still win-win. Great guy, he's not going to do her wrong. If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be my daughter, but my daughter won't do him wrong because it's my daughter. I know my daughter. I know who I raised. You know what I mean? So no, he's not.
It sounds great when you put words in his mouth, but when you hear it,
yeah, when you heard it, because he might have been joking with it, but that's the rest of that joke. That if he would have gave you all that, it probably wouldn't have been as funny. And you probably would have been like, oh, thanks, Dad. Like, it wouldn't have been a joke. You know what I mean? So if you add the words that I just added, I really feel like that's where he was coming from. Because I can see myself saying the same thing, but that's how I would feel saying, like, don't mess this up. You know what I mean? But I know you're not going to. I know it won't be you. You know what I mean? Because I know who I raised. You know what I mean? You're an extension of me. You're not going to mess this up. Because this is what you've been looking for your entire life. Someone to just freaking treat you right. You know what I mean? So you're good now. And kudos to you for getting it right. Many people don't find the right one. You know what I mean? So
I gotta go buy him a Father's Day gift.
Yeah, because you looked at it completely wrong. So shout out to you, Dad. And thank you for the good review. Apparently, if you said otherwise, I wouldn't be here right now. So, shout out to you. Closing thoughts. I don't know what to say. You saved me, I guess.
I mean, I think a lot of daughters have that relationship
with the father, yes.
connection with their father, and I think it's necessary. So on that note, watch the people that you keep around you. Yeah.
Especially in regards to your spouse or your significant other.
Let feed and pour into your relationship.
Correct.
Because whether negative or positive,
it'll bleed through.
It will bleed through to your significant other, because if you keep collecting and storing information in the back of your head, those stored thoughts will start to overtake your own thoughts and become your new opinion, and that other person won't be able to understand how you even got to that point.
Right. Look at your relationship like you would your home. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't just let anybody in your home. Don't let anybody in your relationship. You know what I mean? Like, and for the people that you do let in,
let them stay downstairs.
Only so far, right? That's what I was about to say. Only so far. They don't have to be in your bed. They don't have to use the bathroom upstairs that only you and your wife use. No, y'all go to the bathroom down in the basement. You know what I mean? Like, only let them so far. Because at the end of the day, it's about you and that person that you're with to see if it's going to be right or wrong. Like, it's up to y'all ultimately. You know what I mean? But it could be beneficial if someone is just looking out for your best interest. So just use it as a guideline more so than, yo, this person said this about my wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, I gotta act accordingly. No, use it as a guideline, and only if you see fit to use it farther than that, go forward with it.
My last thought, don't be like nobody talk bad about your significant other.
Period. Period. Like, period. Literal period. Because,
like, in the conversation, like, oh, what's happening up here? You know, in the conversation, change the subject, tell them, like, look, kindly, politely ask.
Straight.
Look.
Forget that. Straight up.
Yeah,
straight up.
Yeah, however you do it, however you want to do it. But look, this is not the kind of conversation I want to have with you. You're not going to talk about my significant other.
Because people will get comfortable in that. And once they do it once and they see that you didn't come to the defense,
then they're going to do it in
feel like
front
they can
of you
do it.
and behind your back.
Right. They feel like they can just do it and you didn't check them on.
Right.
You got to nip that in the bud as soon as you see that come your way. You know what I mean? And because you're not doing any service to the person that you're with might not be there at the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're letting them get shot up and they don't even know they're being shot up. You know what I mean? And they might come around smiling in front of this person's face, not knowing this is the same person that's telling, hey, this person's horrible, this, that. Like, no, nip that in the bud.
Right. Or you go back and tell your significant other that, oh, Johnny Boy was talking bad about you. The first question they're gonna ask you, well, what you say about it? Mm-hmm. Like, what you do about it? Mm-hmm. Like, and if that's not their first thought, then they don't care anyway. So,
right. And they might even think it and not say it, but that's always gonna be a thought. Like, hey, like, did you defend me at all? You know what I mean? Like, they might not even say it to you, but it is a thought, because at the end of the day, you are my defense when I'm not around, and vice versa. I'm to defend you in your honor when you're not around to defend it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, so if I'm letting Joe Smo, Sarah, whoever talk bad about my wife, they're going to think it's okay to talk bad about my wife. And now I started a whole narrative to where that's how they might move in regards to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even when they're around you, they smile in your face being fake. But I know.
You know that they don't.
Right. And you're oblivious to it. And so I'm putting you at a disadvantage. You're disarmed and everything. And I'm supposed to be looking out for you, not them. Yeah. So nip it in the bud. Completely kill that. Protect your relationship like you would protect anything that you value. Anything of high importance that you value, protect it as such. Because the more you let in, the more avenues of danger can be around that relationship. It's my closing thoughts.
Like, comment, share.
See y'all later.